Hello, and a warm welcome to Reddit Echo.
There are memories that time doesn't soften. They don't fade with the years. Instead, they harden like scars, becoming permanent landmarks in the geography of your mind. They are the moments that show you the fragile line between a normal Tuesday and a life-altering tragedy. This isn't a story of the supernatural. The horror here was entirely, devastatingly real. This is the story of a single night on a lonely road, a sound I can never forget, and the images my mind has tried, and failed, to protect me from. It was the winter of 2002, maybe early 2003. My then-girlfriend and I lived in a small house on a road that was less a road and more a scar cut through the wilderness. It was narrow, with no side streets, no streetlights, and, after the first few miles, no houses. It was a ribbon of asphalt leading out to the absolute middle of nowhere. Because of its straight, isolated stretches, it was a notorious spot for locals to race, and, as a result, accidents were common. The sound of screeching tires and a single sickening crunch was an occasional grim feature of our life out there. But one night, the sound was different. We were home alone, probably watching a movie, when the silence of the country night was shattered. It wasn't one crash. It was a series of them, a brutal, metallic symphony of destruction. Crunch, scrape, bang, crunch. It went on for what felt like an eternity. This wasn't a car hitting a tree. This sounded like an entire junkyard being dropped from the sky. We looked at each other, the same unspoken understanding passing between us. This was bad. This was worse than bad. We scrambled for our shoes, not even bothering with jackets, and ran out into the cold, dark night. The scene that greeted us is burned into my memory, but in a strange, fragmented way. The first thing that hit me was the smell. The acrid, coppery scent of radiator fluid mixed with the thick, oily smell of gasoline and something else, something organic and deeply wrong. Then the sounds. The truck itself was a twisted, almost unrecognizable heap of metal, but its engine, by some cruel mechanical miracle, was still running, revving erratically, a dying beast gasping its last breaths. Smoke and steam poured from the wreck, lit by the one remaining headlight that pointed uselessly into the trees, creating a hellish, strobe-like effect. And the debris. It was everywhere. Shards of glass glittered like malignant diamonds across the asphalt. Pieces of plastic, strips of chrome, and unidentifiable car parts were scattered across a 50-yard radius. It looked like a bomb had gone off. Then I saw the people, or, more accurately, the shapes of people. It was so dark away from the wreck itself. I saw the outline of a man just sitting upright in the middle of the road. He wasn't moving. He was just sitting, and from him came a sound, a low, guttural, animalistic noise. It wasn't a scream of pain. Not quite. Was a burst? Was a K far foi? Open for throated vocalization of pure, uncomprehending shock and agony. It was a sound that bypassed the ears and went straight into your soul. It's a sound you never, ever forget. His friend was lying next to him. Still. Completely still. I knew with a cold certainty that he was already gone. That's when the first police car arrived, its blue and red lights painting the scene in a new, more terrifying palette. Then another. They trained their powerful spotlights on the wreckage, and that's when my memory breaks. My mind, to protect itself, has drawn a veil over what I saw next. I can remember the man sitting in the road. I can remember, though I can't see it, knowing his dead friend was next to him. I can remember the knowledge that the road was a mess, but I cannot recall a single specific visual detail from the moment those spotlights flooded the scene. What I know, from what the police and a neighbor told me later, is far worse than what I can remember. The force of the ejection had been so violent that the bodies of the men were torn apart. The police weren't just collecting evidence. They were walking around with body bags, carefully retrieving remains long after the ambulances had taken the victims away. I was told the scene was so horrific, so saturated with blood, that the road and the pull-off in front of our own driveway were stained a deep, rust-colored red for days afterward. And the most chilling detail of all, one that still haunts me. A neighbor told me that when the spotlights came on, I calmly, almost robotically, stepped over a piece of human remains that was lying right next to my foot. I have no memory of this. None. My brain had already checked out, shielding me from a sight that would have been too much to bear. The only other clear memory I have from that night is the sound. The deep, rhythmic, thunderous whump, whump, whump of the life flight helicopter as it circled overhead, searching for a place to land. It was so low that the downdraft from its rotors shook the trees around us violently, their branches whipping as if in a storm. In the midst of all that human chaos on the ground, this giant, mechanical angel was hovering, a surreal and eerie presence trying to snatch a life back from the brink. There were 3 men in that truck. 2 died on the scene. The one who survived, the one making that terrible sound, was a migrant worker. We later heard he fled the country, likely terrified of the authorities or just desperate to be home. I don't blame him. I still drive down country roads sometimes, and when I do, I think of that night. I think of the sound, the smell, the smoke, and the things my mind has chosen to forget. It's a reminder that the real monsters aren't in the shadows. They're in the moments of split-second decisions on a dark road and in the lasting silence that follows the crash.
Don't want to lose this channel and always be up to date with new videos? Then make sure to subscribe. The story continues, and it's only getting more interesting.